I own that phone. I told my daughter when you call somebody on your phone, it says Bobby Lopez. It does not say your name.
Yes.
This phone is an absolute privilege. There's no social media and no boyfriends until the age of 16.
But man, let's talk about raising kids in the digital age. So this was a topic that Daniel had came up with, man. So I'm gonna ask you if you could kind of start us out on this one, sir. What was on your mind when you was thinking about this topic?
Yeah, for sure, man. Like personal experiences, really. I got a 16-year-old daughter. She'll be 17 next month. I know I don't look that old, but it is what it is.
I was gonna say,
Bro, you're over there looking like you're 19. I know damn well you didn't have your daughter.
He got a baby face.
I get that a lot, man.
16
I don't believe you.
He was a daddy at 12.
I bring her in here. She looks like me. Yeah, I'm one of the ones. I guess kind of unique situation. I raised her all the way up to this point or whatever, And I didn't grow up how she grew up. We ain't had cell phones and stuff. I'm sure y'all can relate to that too,
Yep.
And so as she gets into trouble, normal teenage stuff, but for some reason it's just kind of like times 5 or times 10 because of these damn devices and this big web of digital footprint, that just kind of got her in a lot of stuff and all that. It's just difficult, man, and I find myself like trying to chastise a child in an environment or in a society that is all being raised by this digital technology landscape. It's crazy. It's real difficult to do. So I just wanted to talk about the challenges.
Yeah.
A lot of us. I'm sure a lot of other parents are facing the same things too. So yeah, see, we all can relate, right?
For me, I'm going to go ahead and say, for me, I was able to raise kids without digital stuff.
Okay.
Cell phones didn't really come into play until my kids were on their way into middle school, and even then it wasn't as prevalent. And then now I have one that's in high school and it's a lot, more around. And honestly, I haven't changed my parenting that much. And I think that is kind of benefited how things work for me and my kids, because my older kids who are adults now, I'm like, hey, you never know when I'm going to show up. You never know when I'm going to check on you. You're going to have natural consequences. You're going to reap the consequences of your behavior.
Ooh,
so if they say they're going to be somewhere, they better be there, because I may or may not. So they were always afraid, I guess. To put it.
That's some damn parenting right there. I like that.
I know some of my kids now, some of the parents actually read all of their kids' text messages in real time. And you're not giving them a chance to make mistakes that you actually can kind of see where it goes. And what I do now with my kid in high school, I don't see her text messages on a different device. I say, give me your phone and unlock it. And she doesn't have time to delete anything, but she's also aware that I'm going to do that one day. It's not like I just out of the blue do it.
Right.
Hey, there might be a day that I do this, and whatever's on your phone, we're going to talk about it. And not everything requires punishment. Not everything requires a consequence. Sometimes you just have to talk to them about it. And another unique thing that I think I do as a parent, I don't know if other people have. If they have, I haven't really met anybody. But I believe that, especially for me, because I do parent by myself for the most part, I have to be mom and dad. And sometimes the mom side needs to be first, and then the dad side comes second. So if one of my kids breaks my rules and I find out because something happened that is really upsetting to them or harmful to them in an emotional capacity, they get about 24 hours of me being mom. Okay. And I'll give an example. One of my kids had a relationship in middle school, and they know that's a no-go for me. And then something happened. Their heart got broken. And one of their sisters finally told them to come talk to me. And I said, wow, you broke one of my rules. Now I know why you haven't been talking to me. I'm going to help you through the emotional part. I said, but in 24 hours, we're going to talk about the consequences of you breaking my rule. The biggest consequence of that was how it affected our relationship. that kid of mine was hiding from me, and it tore up our relationship. So I guess I don't see that there really needs to be a difference in how you parent. I think there just needs to be a lot of conversation and explaining the reasons behind your choices as a parent. Like, I don't really like that my 15-year-old has social media and stuff like that.
Right.
But I would rather know about it and kind of keep an eye on it than for them to do it behind my back, if that makes sense. You can't really stop them from doing it. Just like when I was a teenager.
All their friends got it.
Stop me.
All their friends got it. All of their friends got it.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. I have a different perspective on it. I parent my kids the way I wish my parents would have parented me.
I'm gonna let Bobby go because I know what Bobby's gonna say, and I think me and Bobby is like on the same wave. Go ahead, Bobby.
So, Daniel and Christina, I know we don't know each other well. Daniel, I know I've seen you in the office, man.
You have.
I know I have.
Probably.
I have. But listen, I have 6 kids. I have 5 girls and 1 boy. Okay, 6 kids. My 15-year-old, my 8-year-old, and my 5-year-old live with me, and so my 17, 18, and 20-year-old, they don't quite get parented the way that my 15-year-old specifically does, and I'm going to pinpoint her because she's in a unique area. I her differently than I will my 5-year-old because my standards and expectations are going to be very different. So, Christina, I'm on your page. I'm not going to say I'm that mom. I am absolutely that mom, and I could care less what people think because I own that phone. I told my daughter when you call somebody on your phone, it says Bobby Lopez. It does not say your name. This phone is an absolute privilege. There's no social media and no boyfriends until the age of 16. And so that's just a rule that I put in my house. Just like you said, I'm parenting her the way I wish my parents would have given me some guidance. I'm like, man, there was some times where I'm just like, I had too much room and I didn't do any bad stuff because I was bullied real heavily. So I just didn't do stupid stuff. But at the same time, I had plenty of room to do stupid stuff. And because of the digital age, I think that because of the digital footprint our kids have, just like adults do and stuff, they don't have social media. And I'll tell you, there was a time in December, last December, where I felt like my daughter was on her phone like a lot, but she was using Safari a lot. I went on and looked, and I found out she had used a friend's email and phone number at school to create an Instagram account. When I found this out, and I told her, I was like, listen, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but I'm about to bust open this little emotional bubble and tell you I cannot believe you can be this way. You came across my Instagram feed as somebody I may know. Somebody I may know. I was all over her like a white rice paper plate in a snowstorm in the middle of Fort Drum. Listen, I was all over that because not only did she lie to me, but you can't hide because you came across my feed as somebody you may know, and I'm like, how in the world? How did this even happen, right? But then to open it up, she didn't have time to erase anything. Sure enough, that's where all the messages were. Where she was really talking to.
Yeah, I'm not saying not to have.
It wasn't through text message. It was through social media. She got her phone taken away until her birthday at the very end of May, and even then, I've been very specific about when she has it. When she walks through the door, if she gets off the bus, she turns it into my room. She does not have her doors done at a amount of time. I'm the bee mom. I'll be that bee mom because I'm the mom. I'm not here to be your best friend.
I'm not saying that you shouldn't have rules like that. I have rules as well, but my kids are allowed to have a conversation with me about it. And there have been a very few times that I have moved the bar on them in their favor. And I also do that. If they break my trust, that's a no-no for me. You break my trust and go behind my back and do something, I will find out. That's my whole point of saying. Before, it was like, you better be where you say you're going to be. Yeah. Because you never know.
I like that a lot. Hell yeah.
I do the same thing with technology. I don't sit there and watch so many parents are like watching their grades every day and watching. I don't do any
I can't
of that.
do that. Nope.
I'll wait till the report card comes out and you're on restriction for the report card.
But there's
I'm looking at Donald, right? Donald was like, I don't have these problems.
That comes out of the fear though, and that fear, there needs to be a healthy fear, because if I tell my daughter I'm going to do something, she knows I'm not bluffing. I told her that if I caught her with this again, her phone would get taken away until she's 18 years old, and she has a way to get. Look,
That's the
like,
biggest
I don't.
problem with parents. It's they lack follow through. You have to follow through with what you say you're going to do.
Yep.
I literally took my daughter's phone, and now she has no phone forever. Like, she literally has no. She could get hit by a car, and I wouldn't know about it. I'd rather just show up to the city. I'd rather find out later.
You don't have payphones anymore. I hate that they got rid of payphones.
Yeah, I hate that.
That part.
Your turn, Corey.
Look, so my kids are 9 and 12, and a 12-year-old, right? Because of the fact that I work in technology, you know what I'm saying? I've always worked in technology for the last 20-something years. I've had access and privy to some information. So what I ended up doing was I ended up getting my kids smartwatches, right? Not Apple Watches, but smartwatches. You know what I'm saying? To be able to one, to see if they can keep up with it. Because with kids, sometimes they'll lose stuff and be like, "Oh, I lost it," and that's it. And I'm like, I'm about to give you no $1,000 phone. You're gonna just say you lost it and just keep going on your merry way and ask me what's for dinner. That $1,000 phone is gonna be what's for dinner. You know what I'm saying? But number two, by working in the wireless industry, I realized that mobile device management tools are able to be put on these devices without the kids knowing. And so, but it's still, the thing about it is kids are kids. I mean, we set the parameters, and if they go outside those parameters, there's consequences and repercussions. Pointblankperiod.com with a P on.
Yes.
So I remember when my daughter created a TikTok. She was like, I'm like, wait, you got TikTok? Like, I don't even want you on social media. You got a TikTok. You know what I'm saying? And she doing all this and doing all this. I'm like, what is this? It's Riz. What the hell is a Riz? I don't want to know nothing from no Riz. You know what I'm saying?
She rizzing you up.
So I emailed TikTok. TikTok said that this person said they were the same age they were. I'm like, really? You can't tell this girl is not 13, she's 11. You know what I'm saying? 11 going on 5. So I'm like, okay, whatever, right? But they have iPads. And so that's when the mobile device management tools came into place. And I'm like, look, if I got to pay extra to do it, cool. And then it got to the point where it's like that we showed them how to use Canva. I showed my son how to use ChatGPT. But they went behind our backs and ended up going with one of their friends at school, did the same thing, created an Instagram with their friends on their email. And we found it. And like I said, me being in the tech industry, I found the password, the email, phone number, and I reset everything. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm looking at all these DMs. I'm like, first I'm like, oh my God, this is actually happening. My kids are going through puberty. And the second thing about it is like, they did not talk to me. So I was mad, frustrated and everything. But I was more disappointed in the fact that they already knew the rules.
They get it behind your back.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I gave y'all smartwatches. Yes, I only restrict y'all to follow me and mommy and each other because of the fact I wanted to see how well you're going to do with these. Because one, they didn't lose, so that's good. Number two, I was going to take off the phone restriction so they can call to other people. But when I found out that they were trying to create their own social medias, then I went on there politely and just embarrassed them. I took their face off and put my face on, ratings down, looking just like this. And they're like, "Why is this?"
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? And then that's it.
Threat that I used to have for my kids is like, you better be say where you're gonna be, because if I find out you're not there, I'm gonna come embarrass you. And I told them all the different stupid ways that I would embarrass them, like dressing a certain way and stuff. Like, we gotta have fun as parents. We're gonna go crazy.
Exactly.
I like that.
I told my daughter if she ever got dress coded because she lied to me about what she was wearing to school. Normally, I dress code her in the morning. I showed her what the dress code is, and I told her, don't talk to me about what other little girls are wearing because I ain't their mom. I ain't gonna have you dressing like a hoodlum. I said, when you step out of this threshold, you are a representation of me and your dad.
Yes.
Kids don't do
I'm
that.
not gonna have you out here acting like any of these little girls. I don't care. I'm not there for it.
Nope. My biggest thing that I hate about raising kids in the digital era is these phones are creating assholes. Like eye to eye. I was taught when you talk to someone, you look them in the eye. There's no looking them in the eye. Like you could be telling them something very important about anything, and they're like, yeah.
They scrolling Instagram
because it's not a 15-second video, bro.
Dude, hey.
Norm. You sound like a boomer right now.
No, I am a millennial that was raised by a boomer. It's still rude. It's because it's a social norm doesn't mean it's not rude.
And that's when you take their chin and you lift it up and you take the phone and you say, when I speak to you, I expect you to look at me here. You can't just.
That's why they got smartwatches.
Yep.
All they can do is just text messages and set alarms.
I like that.
I got a question for you moms. Hey moms, do you spank your kids or you just spank your kid? You know, give them a good ass
say that
whooping.
on Donald. We can't say that on.
But that doesn't work for all children.
You can't say butt whooping.
No,
we can't say that.
We're not supposed to because it's considered as child.
Okay. Well, let me.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know the lingo.
I'll correct you on that.
This will be put on YouTube.
According to social services, that is child.
God don't go give us.
I'm just saying. So yes, it's not the law, but yes, social services is child abuse, so you can't do it.
See, if my mom was to do something, she would just and then I showed disrespect, she would just smack me in the back of the head, and I would fucking stop doing what I would freaking stop doing what I was doing.
So, Donald,
ladies and gentlemen, Dr.
I'll tell you what I've done a few times. So I know I've told you before. I've been in the Army for 18 years. I'm an NCO. And I expect when I talk to you, obviously there's going to be some respect there. So what I've done is, if I feel like my kids, and you can ask my older daughter especially, you can ask her. I've had her, even when she wasn't supposed to do something and she still continued to do it, I had her talk to me in a push-up position and do push-ups while you're speaking to me. You're hurting, but I'm not causing the pain. Your lack of judgment is causing your own pain. I didn't do that.
Like that.
I didn't do nothing.
I have my kids.
When they tell me their arms are hurting, I transition their butts over to wall sits. You will do
it's not
wall
child abuse.
sits. Your legs will burn, baby. We're going to get you ready for the Olympics if you keep acting stupid. Like,
yeah.
I think that's child abuse too, though. I think they classify that as child abuse.
get out of here, man.
If anything, it's mental abuse. You are doing so much psychological damage to that child that they're going to resent you for the rest of their lives.
Hey,
Everything.
Maybe not your guys' case, but in a lot of
Hold on.
cases, that's how children end up resenting their parents for the rest of their lives, you know? And in the Bible, I think it says something about like not to lord over your children, something like that, you know? I don't remember what the verse is exactly, but
It says fathers don't prevent your children to wrath.
so I mean, you know, you guys gotta have some type of mercy for your kids, man. They're just learning, you know?
And that's the reason why
look,
the Bible,
okay, so
when the phrase was, when they were speaking to the wise men, when it says spare the rod, spoil the child, those were the wise men, the men who not to take it too far as to be an abuse, but also a discipline. You know what I'm saying?
It was Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount. It was in that part.
Okay.
Their mercy was when I didn't touch
But
them. That's mercy.
just like I would always say, like you raising a whole person.
Yes.
They got their own thoughts, feelings, everything. Like, but we always look at our kids as an extension of us. So everything they do might disappoint us or whatever the case may be. You gotta understand that's a whole nother person right there. They're gonna do what they want to do. You gave them all the tools, all the information that they need, and they do what they want to do. Depending on what it is, you can guide them through it. But there's a lot of other things where you gotta stand on your square.
Yeah.
Which is why I took my daughter's phone. And even if you can resent me all you want as you go through life, but you gonna know that I'm right. I was correct in what I did. And everybody, you can talk to anybody. Everybody's gonna be like, he was correct in what he did. That's the only thing I care about.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't did such said thing, you would have never got your phone taken. But you kept trying it and trying it and trying it, and now I'm gonna teach you accountability before you get out there in the streets teaching.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, see, as a kid, if a kid were to hear that, I think that they would hear that and accept that and then learn from that, you know. But if you just start hounding them with, hey, you can't do this, that, if they don't mentally start blocking you out, they're gonna. And it's not in all cases, but I know for me, I would have blocked my mother out completely. And just,
that goes to what Christina was saying. That's why it's important. She mentioned communication. Y'all got to be talking all the time.
Well, and
I lost a relationship with my mom for a really long time because we had a hard time in that youth and childhood. And so during my 20s, like, we didn't talk at all. And, you know, it was actually kind of the church that, when I went to the church, that made me take the steps to forgive my mom, you know, for the things that happened and transpired, and we were able to grow from there. So I can thank the church and God for that. But because of the way my mom handled certain things, disciplinary wise, maybe it's just a single mom thing. I'm sure if I had a father there, it would have been a lot more helpful for her. But because of the way she handled some things, it created a lot of hatred and distrust between me and her, and it damaged our relationship for years and years and years. And she had the same thing with her parents. You know, her parents did horrible things to her as a child that caused her to have certain mental
issues.
You know what I'm saying?
Trauma.
Not an issue, but a certain way of handling situations. You know, how can some parent teach love if they weren't loved as a child? You know, like,
Good point.
I don't know.
Right. Hurt people
do hurt people.
So, I'm just saying, I'm hearing some of your moms up here and dads, and I'm like, man, some of this stuff you guys are saying, I would take, but if I were a kid and you're, you know, saying some of these things, it wouldn't be beneficial for our relationship. And if you guys as parents are happy with that,
so you got
there's nothing
you got a good point. You got a good point. Let me chime in real quick. So one of the things you're talking about, Donald, he has a point, right? And you, to your point too, Christina. I think what y'all said was the things you did before you started the punishment, right? You had the conversations, you did lay the ground rules and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think you're wrong, Dr. Pooh, but I think this is a good transition to our next topic, which is entitlement issues, right? Ooh. I think one of the things that social media has done with these damn phones is created massive entitlement issues with these children. So